Hi, babes. Welcome to The Pleasure Portal, a podcast for women desiring to embody their fierce, wild, feminine magic, reclaim their deepest soul desires, and unleash the passion, pleasure, and fulfillment they know in their bones is their birthright. I'm your host, Kelsey Grant, a love, intimacy, and relationship educator and pleasure alchemist. I'm curious, has your pleasure ever been on the back burner? Have you ever felt like your pleasure doesn't matter? Have you experienced your feminine power being minimized, ignored, or suppressed? If so, this is the place for you. Because in this podcast, we're writing a whole new story together. We're a community of fierce femmes who are done with the binds of repression. We're the women who desire a pleasurable sex life, sacred connection with ourselves, and intimate partnership with another without having to give up or hide parts of who we are. We're the modern witches who, until now, have had to hide or suppress our sacred gifts. Together, we're unhooking from the binds that mute our greatest expression. We're dialing up that turn-on full tilt. We're creating right relationship with our emotions, our power, our enchantment alchemy, and our womb wisdom. Each episode, I'll bring to you a mix of pleasure alchemy, embodiment education, love, sex, and relationship insights, and ultimately an invitation home to your fierce feminine magic. We are reclaiming it all. Down and in we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pleasure Portal podcast. Today, another special day for all y'all. I've got my beautiful friend, Christie Federico, here with me, and she is such a beautiful human being. Such a beautiful human being. I remember we met on Instagram years ago. Like, I remember seeing your post years ago. And then all of a sudden we started orbiting in very similar circles in terms of relationship coaching and pleasure coaching. And we just had a lot of overlap in the way that we saw the world, we related to the world. And I just remember like being so enchanted by you. And I'm like, oh, she's so special. And I'm like, we're definitely going to be friends. And then when we finally started connecting, I'm like, this girl's the bomb. Like, she's so great. And I love seeing your work in the world because it's been such a huge permission slip to own more of my pleasure, to own more of my embodiment, to say the things that are really on my heart to say. And then when I see you doing your thing and being so playful and like trying all of these different things that you're passionate about, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. I want to go do something fun. And so it's this just beautiful reflection that you provide in my life. And I'm sure for so many who also follow you. And if you don't follow this woman on TikTok, go follow her. She's so fucking funny. Like, your TikToks crack me up. Sometimes I just go on there. I'm like, has she posted a new video? No. Okay. I'm going off. Like, you're so beautiful in your essence and who you are and what you give permission for everyone who comes in contact with you to embody within themselves. I think is such a special thing about you. And I cannot wait to share your magic with everybody here today. So thank you for saying yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Those were such special reflections. I will forever remember those. Thank you. And I'm so happy to finally be connecting in this way, in a deeper way, since, yeah, like you said, we've been in each other's orbits for so long. So it's so nice to like deepen the relationship too.
I know. It's always great to have friends in other countries and in other places. And we were talking before we started recording of like, we've been chatting for a few minutes and I'm like, oh, I'm getting hot.
Yeah, it's steamy over here.
Steamy over here already. And like, we haven't even really gotten into like the juicy bits yet, but like just our energy is bouncing off of each other in two different countries. Yeah. And I love that about the human capacity to connect, because you don't actually need to be face to face with someone or in the same room with them to feel them, to get their energy, to not like get it as in take, but like understand their energy. And that's what I really am digging so much today, because I'm like feeling so lit up and so turned on and like actually physically hot. And I'm like, this is not surprising. You are such a spicy human, and I love it.
Love it too. And that's, I see that 100% in you as well. And I'm actually disappointed because I remembered that I was going to wear animal print today, and then I forgot. And I was like, damn, we were supposed to.
Damn it.
We have the same spicy Leo, pleasure, sassy, sexy thing going on. And
it's true.
Each other.
It's really true. Damn, we did drop the ball on our leopard print, didn't we?
There'll be other times. It's okay.
It's fine. It's probably better when we can be in like a full-on video together, like a dance video. I think we just got to take our visions to the next level here and just make dance videos.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So good. So good. So I wanted to start today because so much of the work that when I first met you was around relationship coaching. And then I think you were in the realm of like sex and doing a lot of sex and intimacy work. And then obviously that includes so much relational work. And now there's a new pivot that's coming, which is so special. And I can't wait to get into that. But like, let's start with what kind of inspired you to get into the world of understanding your own pleasure. And then how did that like morph into a business and like what you do for a living?
So I was always intrigued by sex and sexuality. There are a lot of parts to my path. Part of it was realizing that I was more comfortable talking about sex and my body than most people. I started masturbating from a young age, so I really think that's a major part of it. And I grew up in a fairly open household that was like pretty open about sex and sexuality. I think, well, from what I've gathered, more so than at least a lot of other people. It had its issues too, but so that was part of it. Like when I realized that people weren't as open as I was, and that it was to their detriment, I was like, wait, no. I want you to be open about this too, because I learned how important it is. So that was part of it. I did a bit of couples counseling when I was interning for my master's in mental health counseling. And that really confirmed too that I was so interested in intimacy and understanding it and helping people in that area, because it's such an important part of our life. So that was like my first taste of actually doing the work. And my whole journey, my whole like life's journey has been about becoming my fully expressed self. And a lot of that was because my expression was stifled as a young girl, because I was told how girls should look and act, and all the things. So, and I didn't really start my coaching business really because of that, but it all just started unfolding as I started working with people and was doing my own healing work. And so my why just kept getting stronger and stronger as like my story kept unfolding. And as I kept progressing in my own healing journey and becoming more free and fully expressed, and was like, I want every woman to feel this way.
Sister, I feel you so much. It's so interesting, like being in the realms that we are. And I don't know if this is just like my, optimism, but I really believe that like if I'm able to run this much pleasure through my body, there's no reason why I can't keep expanding that capacity for pleasure, but also that is something that is possible for other people as well. And I noticed that trend too, like with a lot of my clients, but also a lot of my girlfriends, that like I'm quite open when it comes to sex and pleasure and talking about crystal dildos and glass dildos and vibrators and all the things. And they're like, huh? What? And I'm like, yeah, it's like that Elle Woods quote in Legally Blonde where she gets into Harvard and she's like, what, like it's hard? You know, it's kind of that same attitude for me sometimes. I'm like, what, like pleasure's hard? Like what? Like,
Yeah.
really? And then realizing like, yeah, it is for a lot of people because there's so much conditioning around essentially like closing down our relationships with the body and closing down sensation. So in your experience, what are some of the things that have really, you've seen that are part of the reason why women specifically will be shutting down their sensuality or their relationship to pleasure?
Hmm. We're kind of taught to be unworthy of it.
Mm.
Not even kind of, we are
Mhm.
taught, we're conditioned that
Mhm.
that's not really meant for us. And if it is, then it's more for someone else, like
Yeah.
not just us,
Yeah.
and typically men. So
Mhm.
it makes
Mhm.
it easy to not have that be an accessible thing for us.
Right. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, even though I feel quite empowered in this area, there's still that element of like focusing on the other person's pleasure and like, are they happy? Like, is this good for them? I'm like, hold on. And I've had to literally stop myself mid sex and have a little talk with myself in my head. I'm like, Kelsey, like, where's your relationship to pleasure? Are you in your body right now? If you were thinking and like obsessing almost about like whether or not they're enjoying themselves or if this feels good to them, you're not actually connected to if this feels good for you. And we need to start there. Come back into your body, because the best sex I've ever had has happened when I am fully present, when I'm in my body and I can feel not only myself, but I can feel the other person. And, there's so much that, in movies, TV, like in the media around being externally focused and being focused on the other person's pleasure over your own, when in fact both people's pleasure matters, or all people's pleasure, depending how many are participating in whatever you're doing. Like, it's, there's you got to be important enough to really drop in and take your place at the table.
Mhm.
And I think that's such an important piece to just remind people of when it comes to their pleasure and their sexual expression. Like, your pleasure matters. It really does.
Absolutely. And I just love that mantra or affirmation, even just as simple as that, like my pleasure matters. Um,
Hmm.
there's there I love that you touched on embodiment and the importance of that, because we really can't experience the deep pleasure that we all want and deserve if we're not in our body.
Yes.
But it takes time often to get there when we have
Hmm.
lived an entire life
Yeah,
not being in our body.
for sure.
Um, and then there's also the kind of mindset part of getting to a place as well, and like training your subconscious mind to feel worthy of that pleasure as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so let's dive into that. So, for people who, let's say, have lived from the neck up, so they're really heady, they're in their heads, they're not really in their body. What are some things that what can they do outside of the bedroom that would be supportive to their embodiment in the bedroom?
Yeah, so I actually just created a meditation, which I think is such a, some people think it's kind of cheesy to recite affirmations and things, and I understand why it doesn't work for some people, but
Mm-hmm.
um, for others, it's just a great way to start training your brain and your subconscious mind to
Mm-hmm.
accept these messages, accept these
Yes.
beliefs of being worthy of pleasure and of relaxing the body, and just being open to receiving that. And it doesn't
Mm.
even have to be sexual
Yeah.
pleasure. Um, so to start incorporating more of those messages as often as you can. I mean, I tell clients even to flood their social medias if they're, if they're addicted like most of us to social media, at least flood it with positive,
Yes.
positive messages, and loving messages, and messages that that show you that sex is natural, or that your body's beautiful, and all sorts of messages, because we are flooded with messages constantly every day. Why not make it so that it's going to help train your brain to really feel worthy of pleasure, and to make it so that it can help you create a life of what you want?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So much. Yes. One of my girlfriends and I, we had a conversation a few weeks ago, and she does this thing where she makes her Instagram feed her vision board. So she only follows accounts that if she sees the images in her thread, it's acting as a vision board for her and programming her subconscious of like, oh, this is pleasurable. Ooh, this feels good. Or like when I read that quote, like, or I follow that person, I know that I'm going to feel good after consuming their content. And especially in this day and age, like we're being bombarded with so much data and so much information. Like we have to remember that we are the gatekeeper. Like I get to say, and this is for me, like a big part of my pleasure embodiment has to do with boundaries. And like what are the boundaries of what I will and won't allow in my life? Because if I get really strong at setting those energetic or emotional boundaries with something like Instagram, I'm going to gain more momentum and more confidence in being able to maybe set a mini boundary with a friend or a partner or a family member. And then eventually that builds up the confidence to be able to advocate for what I want in the bedroom and be really clear and direct about what really feels good to me and what would feel better for me and what is like a hard no, and not wavering on the hard no's. And that can be like such an important piece as well when it comes to like really expanding into our pleasure. Like what are our boundaries, and like what do we need to feel safe, what do we need to feel honored, what like with the book Come As You Are, like the accelerator and the brake, like what turns us on and what turns us off. Like these are important things to talk about. And a lot of these conversations just aren't happening as much as they could be happening. So I love that we're talking about this so much.
You.
So much.
And I just love that you've pivoted more toward pleasure and sexuality too. And just because you understand the importance of it, and the more people that we can share this information with, the better. And I adore it so much. Speaking a bit more about what you said about understanding your boundaries and what's a yes and what's a no, I'd love to share a little exercise that's actually like really a game changer.
Please.
Because a lot of people don't really understand what like a yes and a no is for them, at least in their body.
Right.
They might think, in their head about like what it could be, but oftentimes we act, and you might be able to relate to this, but there have been plenty of sexual moments or even relational moments where I thought they were yes for me, and afterward I realized they were no. And to be able to really be firm in what an embodied yes and no is just so important, so that we don't put ourselves in situations where we're unsafe, or that just they're not good for us. So just a really simple thing to do is to take some time to like sit with yourself, try your best to get out of your head and just feel into the sensations in your body, and think about first one situation where in your life, it doesn't have to be sexual, that was like a hell yes for you, that just like felt so good. And just like feel into your body, like what sensations come up, what does that feel like in your body, so that when you are in situations where you have to decide if it's a yes or a no, you can feel like, oh, is my body open right now, or whatever, whatever it is for you in your body. Often it's like, release some tension from your shoulders, there's an opening, it feels expansive, there's no like tension in your gut or something, or butterflies. And then you can do the opposite as well. Like, what was a time either that was a hell no and I knew right away, or a time where I said yes when I really meant no. And like thinking of that, you can still get a felt sense in your body of that experience, even though
Yeah.
it's past. And so, really getting a clear idea of what that feels like in your body can help future situations and decisions.
Yes. I love this so much because for me, those experiences are so vastly different.
Mm.
Like when I think of things that are a full body yes, my shoulders go back and my heart cracks open, and there's like this very warm energy that's swirling through my heart space. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that feels good. And it almost like travels up from like my upper chest into my throat and like up into my head. And then I'm just like swirling in a vortex of things that feel good. And when I'm in a situation where it's a no, like there's this like crunching in my gut. It's like this twisty, crunchy, like, ugh, like I feel almost a little nauseous
Mm.
or sick to my stomach. I'm like, ooh, okay, it's a hard no. And sometimes if it's just like a little bit of that sensation, that's more like, let's proceed with caution.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is just a no for now. And it might be a yes later, and that could, really boil down to where I'm at in my cycle. Like there are things in terms of like my preferences or like even how I like to be touched that will change throughout my cycle. And what will turn me on will change depending where I am in my menstrual cycle. So even just knowing like, ooh, that twinge, if it's not like super intense where it's like grinding my gut energy, that it could just be, this is a no for right now. And like, let me explore that. Let me explore, why is this a no for right now? Is there something else that I need? Is there something else that I would prefer? Is it got to do with like where I am in my cycle? Like what's going on with me? That level of intimacy with self is so important. And I love that you just walked everyone through that very simple exercise, because often these things don't have to be so complicated or convoluted. Like, let's make them simple. Let's make them easy to actually do, or else people aren't going to do them.
Completely. Yeah. The most, I think, important, honestly, practices really are simple, even when it comes to
Mhm.
pleasure.
Yeah.
It doesn't, there's not a lot. But I do want to say, though, that even though some of them are simple, they are not always easy. And they may
Yes.
take time to be able to do.
Yeah.
And there might be a lot of barriers. It may be trauma. It might just, you may have spent, to go from your entire life being in your head to then being in your body, it's not an overnight thing.
Mm-mm.
Um, so I just don't want anyone to like feel bad either
Mm-hmm.
if it's not totally accessible right away. It's totally normal
Totally.
and okay.
Absolutely. Like for me to even be able to say what I just said has taken like 15 years of inventory with myself and getting to know myself. And, all of the years before that where I wasn't listening to myself and getting, a good amount of contrast backlogged in my life of like, ooh, okay, that's what that feeling is. Like, oh, now I can understand a little bit more clearly. 15-year-old me, when something was a no, I'm like, oh, that's what that sensation was. Huh. Okay. Like the creepy crawlies across my chest or like over my body. I'm like, oh, okay, good to know. And I didn't know that at the time. And then even coming into my 20s, there was just a lot of shit that went down in my early 20s that like I was so discombobulated and not in my body. Like I had to go up into my head in order to get through those situations. And so there was nothing wrong with me being in my head. It literally kept me alive. And that's something for me to celebrate. And, for anyone who's in their head, there's a good reason why you're in your head. Like, it's not because
100%.
you don't want to experience pleasure. Like, there's a reason why. There's always, you know.
I love that idea of celebrating it. And I tried to have the same mentality with myself and also help bring that and invite others into that. way of thinking about it, because it's
Mm-hmm.
true. It's like, let's thank my body for taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing what it's supposed to, and it
Yeah.
served you, and that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Yes, so beautiful. And I find that that's also helpful in terms of more embodiment. Like the more that I see my body as an ally, and I see like, oh, you were just doing what you needed to do to keep me safe or ensure that I survived or got through this really shitty circumstance. Like, oh, we're not enemies. Like, we're not mortal enemies here. All of a sudden, like, there is a release of tension that happens. It might be like momentary and then it might tense up again, but there is this moment of release of like, okay. And that moment is a moment of embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
And any time that we're using our body, we're embodied. So like we can never be fully disembodied or else you would be dead.
Right. And even being in your head, like that's still part of your body. And sometimes
Exactly.
I mean, there's still part of me that has, I guess, uh, resentment for having to be in my head for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so sometimes I still kind of like have this separation of like I'm in my head, not my body, but it's
Right.
like it's all working together.
100%. Like last time I checked, my head was still connected to my body.
Yes, thank God.
And without my head, my body wouldn't work. So there's that.
Yes.
It's such an important part of the body. And even just remembering that there are different parts of the body and spending time. Like I love like this morning practice where I just put my hands over my womb and I just say hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing today? Or like sometimes I'll do it on like my kneecaps. I'm like, hey, how you doing today? Or like my ears or like my hips or like I'll just choose a different part of my body and just hands on the body and just say hello.
I
And
love
in those moments, like I'm anchoring in more presence to that part of my body. And I
that.
might still go about my day and get super heady and like, not be fully in my kneecap or in my womb or wherever it is that I'm focusing, but I'm still creating that devotional time. Even if it's just 30 seconds in the morning of just waking up and saying hello. And that's starting to create such a beautiful allyship with my body. Instead of us being mortal enemies, we're like, oh, you're working against me. And like, and I need to fight you. Like, no, you're my friend. And I'm going to say hi to you. And I'm going to, treat you with loving devotion like I would any of my friends.
Mm.
Like I think this is true for a lot of people, but we're often a lot kinder to our friends than we are to our own body. And there's a huge link between can we be kind to our body and how much pleasure we're going to be experiencing, but also how much freedom we'll feel to express in our pleasure and express in life in general. What do you think about
I love all of what you just said. So much. Of course.
that? Of course, we're two peas in a pod.
Especially love, and thank you for sharing your just small doable ways that you connect with your body. And I emphasize small doable because that is just the best way to start when you're
Mhm.
so kind of far into your body and relating to it in a deep way and devotional way. um,
Mhm.
Especially with so many of us not having the best relationship with our body and not thinking it's enough, by
Mhm.
societal standards. Um, find some, like, can you find even the smallest thing that you like about it? Let's start there. You
Yes.
know, let's just like be grateful for that, send love to that, like love up on
Mm.
that little part of you, and then work your way. Like, but it's like it's just like anything else, like to have a positive relationship with your body in that way, in terms of like body image as well.
Mhm.
It will take time too. And so what is the first small thing that you can
Mm.
find?
I love that. When you first started talking about this, you were also talking about the mindset piece and the parts to retrain the subconscious mind to even be open to the idea of more pleasure. So we just kind of tackled the embodiment piece. So what are some of your, favorite things to do? And I know you already talked a little bit of affirmations, but like in addition to that, what are some things that people can do to start reprogramming their mindset around pleasure?
Yeah, well, I think again, starting with small things, and if we're talking more to get to a place where we're really comfortable receiving like sexual pleasure and opening
Mm-hmm.
that portal,
Yes.
let's start in a non-sexual way. Like, how can
Yes.
we use our five senses? I'm a Taurus. I'm the queen of sensuality
Mm-hmm.
and pleasure, and I know you are too. I know you're about the ambiance,
Mm-hmm.
sense, and the lights and all the juicy stuff. So, what are something you can choose one sense or five senses? And like, what is like one thing that you can incorporate in your day today that can bring you a sense of calm, a sense of pleasure in
Mm.
some way? And pleasure, it's typically used in reference to sex, but it's not. There's so many
Yeah.
pleasures.
Mm-hmm.
So something pleasurable can taste delicious. Something, it can be the sun on your skin. It can be a scent. Like, one of my favorite things to do is like light incense, or just like be really particular with the kind of scent I use in my shower, because it just makes it such a more delicious experience. And why not
Mm-hmm.
make as many experiences in your life as delicious as possible?
Yes.
Um, and by starting small and just like gradually incorporating more of these little things in your life, like, you're also proving to yourself that you are worthy of this. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
way to train yourself too, and to be more open to the kind of other pleasure that might be harder to access at first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. You just inspired me. I think after this call, I'm going to go buy some eucalyptus just to hang it in my shower. Because I usually use the essential oil in there, but like actually hanging real eucalyptus, not only will it smell great, it will also look really pretty. So I'm getting two senses for the price of one.
I have, I've gotten that, and it makes me feel like I'm on like a European vacation. It's just,
Yes.
yeah, there's just another element to that that's like, whoa, this is such an amazing experience, and you can be present with yourself and your body, and just smelling the senses. And
Mm-hmm.
anytime that you can engage the senses, that's also practicing mindfulness and embodiment. So
Mm-hmm. And I love that because I've just never been a huge fan of the mindfulness sect where we have to sit in silence and like not move and like master your thoughts. And like that never made sense to me. And I think it's probably like the rebellious like parts of me being like, I'm not doing that. Like you can't tell me what to do. I'm like, that can't be the only way. Like
it's
I
not.
get that it's a way, but it's not the only way. And for me, I find it much more therapeutic for my system, for my mindset to incorporate play, movement. I love to do walks, like intentional walks, where I look for things that I've either never seen before or I look for evidence of things that please and delight me. Kind of depends on my mood, which one I'm looking for. But when I walk a different path that I've never walked before, like I have to be present. I have to be mindful of where I am in space and time. And not only that, if I'm looking for things that I've never seen before, like I have to keep my eyes open. And for me, mindfulness is all about being dropped into the present moment. And there's so many ways to cultivate that skill set, to cultivate that muscle. And so I love, this is very Taurian of you to like pull in the senses into mindfulness. Like it sounds way funner, to be honest.
No, but I am totally with you. I'm I love walking. It's like,
Mhm.
walking itself is such a pleasure to me,
Yeah, me
honestly.
too.
Um, but I love that curiosity and like just being open to what is around you and really being present
Mhm.
with it. And I think honestly, a great exercise is doing that also in places where you're familiar. So
Yes.
just going into it as like, like what have I not seen before? Or like what can I see with new eyes, and just
Mhm.
be playful with it and open. And yeah, it's a beautiful
Mm.
exercise. Thanks for sharing that.
You're very welcome. Thanks for adding that, because that is such a juicy part of the practice too. Like, yeah, if you're walking the same route to work every day, although these days you're probably not walking to work, but you know, back in the day or wherever you have to walk and
Yeah.
you're walking the same route, it can get very monotonous, and we can that can be like the access point from being in the body to going up into the head and not being present. And so by looking, on the same route that you walk all the time and looking for things that you've never seen before, you're going to find some gems. And
Yeah.
and I find when I do that, like I'm just much more open. So I'm already walking through the street with a much more open auric field, and my energy, even though we might have to be wearing masks right now, like I'm still getting smiles from people. You can tell when someone's smiling,
Completely.
and you can tell when their energy is open or flirtatious. And so, like, that's the energy that I'm kind of bumping people with as I'm walking down the street, looking at things like, whoa, I've never seen that patch of moss before. Or, like, I've never seen those flowers on the grass before. Like, there's so many things that, immediately connect me back into that awe, wonder, magic that is so necessary for building up that pleasure muscle, at least has been in my experience. So I love that you added that.
Mine too. And I wanted to also expand on your saying that people can tell that you can tell that people are smiling. And the
Mm-hmm.
same as that people can tell when you are embodied and open
Yes.
and in your pleasure, because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I want that shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is so like, have you ever had those moments where you're just like feeling yourself, or like you're feeling a song, or the sun just feels so good on you and you're feeling good? And like you could even, and it has nothing to do with your physical appearance. Like you can be
No.
looking like hell, and like it doesn't matter because your vibe is high as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And people look at you differently and
Yep.
treat you differently in that way. And again, it has nothing to do with what you look like. It's about your energy and the way
Yes.
that you're just enjoying life, because that is so infectious.
Mm-hmm. And to me, like, that is one of the things that I will look for when selecting friends, when selecting potential dates, definitely like partnership. Like, I want to see like your vibe and like your vibe with me.
Mm.
And if it's collapsed, if it's shut down, if it's repressed, like, I don't find that attractive. Like, I'm not going to be like, maybe I should invest more into that. Like, maybe like the old codependent me that was like, oh, I can save you.
Mm.
But now I'm like, oh no, like in this sovereign, like pleasure queen era that we've stepped into, like that is literally the biggest turnoff. And it helps me really direct where I'm meant to go and who I invest with. And it honestly makes life a lot easier using that as almost a filter for who comes in, who gets access, what I invest into. Like, I can get that same energy off of a location. So I feel drawn to certain places and I feel repelled by others. And when it comes to like something so simple like a movie theater back in the day, like there are certain movie theaters that have this energy, this sparkle to them, and I feel like all starry-eyed. I'm like, I gotta go to that theater. And it's just a movie theater, you're only watching a movie there, but there's something about the energy of the space that feels like a huge invitation to open. And
Mm-hmm.
so by tuning in and getting even more acquainted with these parts of ourselves, then we get to expand it into like, ooh, what parts of the world actually feel the best for you?
Mm-hmm.
What parts of your city feel the best for you? So if you're like, I feel like I got to move, like, don't move where you feel like you should. Move where it feels expansive. Where
Mm-hmm.
does it feel good to your soul, good to your body? And so these are all like little tools along the way to help you really cultivate more magic and serendipity and go where it feels good to go, where you get to be your most expressive self, which is a perfect pivot into,
Nice
I
work.
didn't even plan that, but a perfect pivot into where you are in your story right now. So can you tell everybody like this pivot that you've made and like all the magical things you've been up to or that you want to get up to?
Of course. Yeah. I love that you explained that all so perfectly. And I can completely relate to that because I have learned so well to follow my intuition and what felt right to my soul and my
Mm-hmm.
body. I knew I wanted to end up in California. I'm from New Jersey, so across the country. And nothing but magic has come to me since I've made that
Yes.
leap. So that's just like one example of like, look, for some
Mm-hmm.
reason I'm really called to here and the call is not going away. It hasn't for
Mm-hmm.
years. So I'm finally making it happen. Um, and over the course of my business, it has been so important to me to continue to follow that intuition because I
Mm-hmm.
know that I am best in service if I am coming from an embodied place and doing what
Yes.
really lights me up. Um, because I just can't give as much of me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm just not serving from the best place if I'm not there. And so I'm constantly like, why am I not feeling lit up by this? Or, what new thing can I add or what can be taken away so that it feels more in alignment?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, over the last year, especially, I've started slowly pivoting as it feels good to me to go more into the direction of play over perfection and
Yes.
creativity, which is all related to sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because I totally practice what I preach, I've also had these indications and intuitive hits of like the next thing that I need to do for my creativity, my creative expression to really come alive. And for me to also just keep feeling lit up and feeling alive in my own life and in my business. And so I have started acting and comedy and voiceover and all that stuff. And it feels so, so amazing. So I'm excited to continue to pivot and offer more play workshops and different ways for people to overcome shyness and really get embodied and in a different way. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love providing a space for women to leave all their insecurities behind and just get silly and like get out of their head and into their body in that way. So that's definitely part of the direction that I'm going. And as you know, creative expression is
Mm-hmm.
sexual expression. It's related to that. And
Yeah.
the more that we can honor those intuitive hits, the more that we can be mindful enough to even be aware of those intuitive hits. The more we
Mm-hmm.
follow those, the more we become more of our truest self,
Yes.
the more that we can show up that way in relationship, in the bedroom, and the more access to pleasure we have. So it's all so related. So
Mm-hmm.
related.
I cannot wait to come watch you do comedy. Like, I know I've told you this before.
It never gets old.
It never gets old. But it's so true because I mean, I think it's because A, we have alignment and like there is a connection that we share together. And I just find you so funny. Like your brand of humor really jives with me. And I'm like, because you've had this history in the relational and sexual domains, like this could make for great comedy down the line or whatever route like your comedy takes. Like it feels so right. And I am thrilled that you are stepping in that direction and following that call and also finding ways to help other people step into that for themselves. Like I just got so turned on by you explaining a play workshop. I'm like, yeah, like, why don't we just do that? Like, let's go play. And I've said that to my friends for a while because I have one of my guy friends. He's Australian. He's a Leo. He's very playful. And he called me one day, this was years ago, and he's like, Kelsey, do you want to go out and play? And I'm like, yeah, I do. This is me at like 34, 35. And he's like calling me up, want to go play. I'm like, yeah. And so we would just go down to the beach, or we would go literally to a playground or to a field and like kick a soccer ball around or just be silly. And like we literally morph into 5-year-olds whenever we're around each other. Like this is the gift of the Leo.
It is. I'm a Leo rising, so that's why I'm heading in that direction.
Yeah, you're like,
But
yes.
I love that so much. And it's interesting because you were like, I'm 34 years old. And it's true. Like, we are like so conditioned to be like, I'm in my 30s. Like, I can't just stop everything and play. Like, I can't, like, I have to be productive. I have to be sexy, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I have to be professional. It's like, no, the magic is play and creativity. And like, that's how we connect to our true selves. That's how we
Yes.
follow the path of what's right for us in life. And we need to
100%.
allow it in. So
This is why I keep a collection of ribbon wands on display in my living room, but I also have a bunch in my storage closet in case there's a big gathering, which obviously wouldn't be happening right now. But in case there was, then everybody gets a ribbon wand to frolic around with. And we do nights where we do like glitter art because I love glitter. I'm obsessed. And so whenever we do glitter art, there's literally glitter in the grooves of my hardwood. And for months, like no matter how many times I clean my hardwood, it's still going to glitter. And it delights me because the second I see that sparkle, I'm like, ooh, play. Like, remember, play. I literally can see a sparkle like hitting my eye right now. Like, it's just such a reminder to play. And you're right. Like, that is the access to more pleasure. That is the access for more connection. It is the access for healthier, more aligned and attuned relationships. Like, and as adults, we put on like this serious coat, and I'm just done with it. Like, I'm really done with like digging through the fucking trauma 24/7. Like, that is important. It's not the only thing that's important, though. Joy is important. Play is important. Being silly is important. Laughing is important. And without these things, like we get pulled into the serious undertow, whether that's the undertow of our job or the undertow of our family or our relationship or even our trauma. Like we can get so bound there that we forget that there's this beautiful, juicy, glorious world around us that we can literally tap into at any time, even if you have to astral project yourself at this point in time because you can't go travel anywhere else. But like, you still can access it in so many ways. So I love that. I guess we'll be wearing leopard print onesies and frolicking with ribbon wands and blowing glitter at people.
Yes. So I just can't wait for the day that we can just laugh hysterically for hours.
Me too. Me too. It's so good. Okay, so let's do some rapid fire questions here.
Okay.
Before we wrap up today. So, I love this question. What is something you're celebrating in your life right now?
I am celebrating that I have really been brave lately in trying new things and putting myself in uncomfortable situations because I know it will make me feel alive, and it does every time. So I'm totally celebrating that because it's taken me a long time to get there.
I love that so much. How has pleasure impacted your sense of self?
That's kind of a hard question because pleasure is so much a part of my sense of self. I think
Perfect.
It always has been. I think it really just helps me connect to myself and be embodied. Like I really do use my senses to be embodied and connect with myself. So
yeah. Yummy. I love it. What are you most turned on about in your life right now?
Okay, this is embarrassing.
This is perfect.
I mean, I'm definitely turned on by all that, the acting and all that stuff. It makes me feel so good. But like, if we're talking kind of sexually, there's not much going on in my life sexually except with myself. But
Yes.
so I got this CBD oil massage, and I was so in love with the oil that they used on me because it
Yeah.
smells like a sexy man.
Oh, yummy.
But I literally was like, I'm going to call up these people and ask if they have this available for purchase. And I drove about an hour total just to go back and buy this oil because I was like, that is going to make my life so much more pleasurable. Just that little bottle of oil. And it like turns me on so much. And especially in times where like I'm single, I'm busy, I'm not super like trying to be sexually turned on.
Mm-hmm.
That little smell of that delicious, sexy man really
Yummy.
turns me on.
It's turning me on. And I've never even smelt it.
I really wish I could have you smell it one day.
One day. So good. I mean, I think you've already kind of answered this, but we'll just reiterate it one more time. How does your relationship with pleasure look in your daily life?
A lot of smelling random things because they turn me on or just smell delicious and kind of mentally take me on a vacation. I have a string of white lights that I like to put around either like my workspace or my bed because that ambiance is just like so pleasurable to me. It just makes any moment better. I like to wear cozy things, just feeling cozy and comfortable. And food. Gosh, food is one of, if not my greatest pleasures. So definitely listening to my body and what it wants to eat and having as much pleasure with food as possible.
Yum. I love this. Okay, I've got one final question for you. If you could whisper a nugget of pleasure wisdom to 13-year-old you, what would you tell her?
Oh, I love that. Pleasure is important. Follow it wherever you go.
Yes. Spoken like a true Taurus. With a Leo rising. So good. So good. Awesome. Well, Christie, where can everyone find you? What are you up to? What are you offering? Tell us all the things.
Oh, sure. Well, I am most active on TikTok right now. Some silly and inspirational videos there. So my handle is Christie Federico there. I'm active here and there on Instagram, not as much as I used to be, but there's plenty of content there also. And you can always DM me on there, although Instagram doesn't love me that much and I might be shadow banned still. So proceed with caution with that one. My website's christiefederico.com. Anyone can always message me there. There's some freebies, some downloadable guides, and I have a self-pleasure guide on there that is a very affordable price, and a lot of people really received a lot of help when it comes to releasing sexual shame and having more pleasure and intimacy with themselves and with other people. So
amazing.
If anyone wants a pleasure meditation, they can send me a message on any of those platforms as well. It's so new from a couple of weeks ago that I haven't even added it anywhere yet.
Incredible.
That will be really helpful. And then, if you're active if you follow me on any platform, you'll be aware of any new offerings I have coming up. I'm probably coming out with an intentional beauty program that helps us really become aware of why we do what we do when it comes to our appearance and beauty and stuff, and really developing more inner confidence and being more intentional with how we present ourselves to the world. And plenty of play workshops to come. So
yes, so good. So good. Well, thank you for being here with me today and sharing your wisdom and just sprinkling more permission for play, more permission for pleasure, more permission for joy, and just making it so darn easy to explore these realms. Like, you make it so easy. And I'm really grateful to know you, and thank you for taking the time with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, no pun intended. And I'm so happy to be connected. And thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. All right, everybody. So if you loved this episode, which you obviously did because it was so great, we would love if you shared it on your social media, whether that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I guess you can't really share on TikTok these days, but who knows? Maybe by the time this comes out, TikTok will have that function. But sharing the podcast is so helpful when it comes to spreading the word about pleasure, giving people more permission. We would love if you share this episode, tag both of us. That would be endlessly helpful. And we will see you in the next episode.